My name is Christina O'Keefe, and I am a researcher at Dublin City University Institute of Education. My research focuses on the role of play in supporting the inclusive educational experiences of all learners.
My name is Sinead McNally, and I am also a researcher at Dublin City University's Institute of Education. And my research focuses on how children learn and develop in inclusive early childhood educational contexts. So today in this video, we are going to talk about a paper we have written and published in the journal Autism. And this paper is called Like It's Making My Heart Run, a strengths-based understanding of the play of autistic children. So to give you an overview of this abstract, in this video, we're going to bring you through why we conducted this study and then talk through the aims of the research and our research questions. Christina is going to describe the research methods we used to support autistic children's participation and to gather their perspectives on play. Christina is also going to present what the children said or shared with her around their views of play, before concluding by drawing out the implications of the research and highlighting our core recommendations. So to give you some background as to why we did this research, well, we know that play is a central feature of childhood and that it is widely recognised as essential to children's well-being and their overall quality of life. Play is fundamental for children's learning and development, including cognitive and social skills, children's emotional and physical skill development, and their creativity. And it is also a right in and of itself. This has been recognised formally by the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1989. Research has viewed the play of autistic children from a deficit perspective historically, most often in comparison to neurotypical norms and assumptions. For example, autistic children's play has been described as impoverished or inappropriate and pathologized as something lacking or to be fixed or normalized in order to better align with more typical play characteristics. This view is also found in autism diagnostic criteria, for example, the DSM-5, where deficits in play are regarded as a defining feature of autism. Indeed, it has been noted that play is widely used in the construction of disability, where children can be judged as incompetent, unskillful, and not typical as players. Recently, however, there have been calls for the consideration of the unique strengths or potential diversity of play experiences for autistic children. Researchers have described the unique features of autistic children's play according to engagement with sensory and physical materials and repetitive play behaviours. In investigating autistic children's play, research has especially overlooked the internal qualities of play, such as children's playfulness and their perspectives in play. And this means that our current understanding of autistic children's play is not informed by autistic children's views of and perspectives on play. We need an understanding of autistic children's play from the players themselves to move beyond deficit-oriented, non-autistic framed descriptions that continue to dominate the literature. We can ask ourselves that without this knowledge, can we be sure we know what constitutes authentic play for autistic children? And therefore, are we supporting and facilitating autistic children's play in a meaningful, authentic way without the perspective of autistic children themselves? And lastly, this is likely to be especially important in educational settings where play is used to support children's learning and development. This is important given reports of poorer mental health outcomes among autistic people and associated stigma for autistic people surrounding a deficit-oriented view of autistic children's play. So keeping all of this in mind, We had specific research aims and questions for this study. We aimed to develop a child-centered, strengths-based understanding of autistic children's play through a systematic investigation of how autistic children conceptualize play. And the study was guided by one research question: how do autistic children understand and conceptualize play?
62 interviews were carried out with 19 autistic children aged between 5 and 12 years across 2 primary schools. Most children selected to take part in individual interviews, but some group interviews were also used. This image shows a selection of some of the creative methods that children chose to express their views in this research, such as drawing, bookmaking, using teddies and puppets, looking at photos, going on a walking tour, sorting photos, and playing. We analysed children's descriptions of play using a method called reflexive thematic analysis. This involved going back and forth through each of these steps in a flexible way in order to build themes based on children's descriptions of play. In total, we built 3 themes based on autistic children's understanding of play. The first theme emphasised the importance of dispositional qualities such as enjoyment and pleasure in play. For example, Cara, a pseudonym, described play as dancing because it's fun and there's nothing you can do wrong. Through drawing, Zara also described her sense of enjoyment and pleasure in play, as seen here, in particular in relation to cartoons and her personal interests, such as My Little Pony. The second theme described the importance of social connections in play, including friendships. Here, older autistic children in particular described the need for negotiation and compromise in play with social partners, such as when choosing types of activities to play based on people's interests. Children also spoke about social demands and rules imposed by the players themselves, such as playing nicely and including everybody. In this quotation, Jay, another pseudonym, described meaningful social connections with his friends in school, which were impacted during COVID-19 in response to health and safety regulations. In this drawing, Lisa also emphasised the importance of her dollhouse and playing with her mum. The third theme described play as engagement with meaningful activities and materials, oftentimes based on children's enthusiasms and interests. Also sensory and physical stimulation, as well as creativity and imagination. Some children also spoke about their preferences for solitary play during these activities, where they deeply valued a sense of freedom and choice, which was important across all themes. Here, Bob emphasises the sense of sensory and physical stimulation during water play. Our findings contradict and challenge deficit-focused assumptions that have persisted throughout the literature for many years in relation to autistic children's play. In particular, these findings emphasise dispositional or within-child qualities in play, such as happiness, pleasure, and enjoyment. Our findings also emphasise the importance of respecting and celebrating diversity and difference in play, in order to create inclusive play environments that authentically reflect children's play preferences. And finally, these findings support future research on how we can use play as a medium for supporting autistic children's well-being, learning, and development, given the limited research in this area. If you're interested in finding out more about this research, you can read our paper in the journal Autism, which is now available freely online for everyone to access.